I wanted just to start out today by watching this video from doTERRA. It's just going to introduce what we're talking about. And so over the next 3 weeks, so today and then 2 more weeks, excuse me, we're going to be learning about the doTERRA difference. And so part of the doTERRA difference is the certified pure therapeutic grade testing that doTERRA does. I've also seen it certified pure tested grade in terms of doTERRA's oils, and we're going to talk all about that today. And then next week, we will cover co-impact sourcing, and then the following week will be the healing hands. So, and then we'll take 2 weeks off and then come back in January. So let's get going.
So when we talk about quality, it's not always about what testing you're doing. You have to look at the whole process and what that means collectively. And I believe that doTERRA does that better than anyone else.
doTERRA is the best company in the industry right now. I mean, they're the leaders. I mean, there's no one that's really coming close to doing what they're doing. I haven't seen anything like it in my 20 years of being in this industry, of a company going to the lengths that they go to secure the best oil in the world.
doTERRA's commitment to quality starts well before the plants are even distilled. Through our co-impact sourcing, the CPTG process starts then. And then it goes through a 3-tiered testing process that starts with outside labs and finishes off inside the company here, and then continues on after the bottles are sold.
We do several layers of testing, including GCMS, optical rotation, specific gravity, refractive index, chiral testing, carbon-14, probably more extensive than just about any lab out there.
I've been doing research with essential oils for about 15 years now. So I've worked with a lot of oils and a lot of tests. And the one thing that I've noticed consistently is that unless you're starting with an oil that has a consistent quality, you're not going to get good results.
You know, a lot of our oils are used in aromatherapy or topical use. We want to make sure that we do not only make a product that's effective, but it's also going to be safe. And that's why we do a thorough analysis to look at the composition to make sure that it is safe. But at the same time, we also go ahead and do skin irritation testing, which is also called as the RIP testing or repeat insult patch testing, to make sure that when you apply it on topically, it's not irritating to your skin.
To a wellness advocate, we always keep them in mind, and we talk about it in our training. And what matters is that the details matter. You know, quality is in the details. And so because we're so passionate and so detailed, we're sure not to miss those things that are going to make the difference between just an okay product and a great product.
We stand behind our quality processes because we have the most in-depth and knowledgeable staff. We have set the standard for what the quality process should be. The testing knowledge that is gained as well as passed on with each bottle is, you cannot measure.
One of the things that I've recognized about the quality of essential oils and the testing is that it's a dynamic environment. It's changing. And this is why it's so important that doTERRA leads the front, that doTERRA is developing and processing and coming up with new ways, new opportunities to prove out the quality of essential oils, and frankly, in a way that no other company is able to do. As we continue to grow, as we continue to expand throughout the world, I'm proud to say that doTERRA has made that commitment and will not waver or deviate from that.
All right. So why do we want pure essential oils? It might be an obvious answer for some, but it might not be for others, because I've heard people, and a lot of times they'll tell me, you know, well, I'll just go buy, like, I don't want to buy doTERRA I'm going to go buy the other stuff that's much cheaper, which I've done. I'm totally admit that. Fortunately, my family and I haven't had any reactions to those other ones, but I do know that when you add fillers or when essential oils are adulterated, right, or changed, the things that they add to them are what cause the reactions. And I've seen some pretty severe ones. I was actually doing some research. I couldn't find pictures that I couldn't really find pictures that I was looking for, but a lot of the stuff that I did see had to do with chemical burns, and people would talk about how they use doTERRA. I know somebody's going to be like, don't talk about this, but somebody would use doTERRA oils and then they'd go tan, right? Or go out into the sun. And that is something that is very real. And it's almost like you're getting a sunburn because of the essential oils, right? So be careful of that. But that is in conjunction with going out and getting UV ray exposure. So those are the ones that I found. I have seen cases where somebody will put like lavender on a sunburn. Maybe it's the same, and they'll come out with like 3rd-degree burns from that. So that is possible, but it wasn't a doTERRA brand, it was somebody else. So why is it important? It's important because when you add things, it's most likely synthetic, or in the case of like birch, doTERRA did testing on all sorts of samples before they created or while they were creating birch, and they found that not one had even a drop of birch in it, right? From all these other companies, they didn't have birch on it. Most often it's swapped with wintergreen because they smell very similar, but just be aware, right? So, but what happens is they're created in a lab, right? Blue Lotus, I talked about that a couple weeks ago. I think it was a couple weeks ago, right? For forever, Blue Lotus was only synthetically created, right? And when we do that, we're introducing substances into our body that weren't ever designed to absorb, right? So when you create something that's synthetic, it's 1 part natural and 2 parts synthetic, right? And our body doesn't know how to absorb those. And so it matters when we're talking about essential oils and having them pure, because if we're putting stuff on our skin and it's not pure, we're just going to add to the problem. And we're all, I mean, this is talking specifically about toxins, but it adds up over time. It adds up. Hey, so sorry, I guess I should have taken this out, but just so you're aware where synthetics are, they lurk in a lot of our personal care, right, for both men and women. So perfumes, colognes, lotions, shampoos, conditioners, skincare, makeup. I've actually just made the full transition to the doTERRA hair care line. It's wonderful. And I only get haircuts like once a year. I just got my haircut. And we only had to cut a few inches off because she was like, it's just so healthy. So, and she's like, and the more you use natural products, like the more, the stronger your hair is going to be. So I was like, well, that's great to know. Okay. So we want to pursue what's pure, and an essential oil's effectiveness and potency. An essential oil's effectiveness and potency all depend on the purity, right? So even when I would buy those ones from those other companies, I would most often have to use, well, not most often, but every time I would have to use double what I use of doTERRA, like in the diffuser. So, excuse me. You can be sure as you're using these doTERRA essential oils that it has gone through rigorous third-party and internal testing for every single batch. And they are certified pure, tested, or therapeutic grade. I just answered that. So are doTERRA oils pure? Yes, because of the rigorous testing. And how does doTERRA make their essential oils pure?
Mom, look.
Or make sure that their essential oils are pure? Again, it's the testing that it goes through. I had notes on this, and I apologize that I don't have them right now, but we talked about that. Okay, so here's a question you might be asking yourself, like, how do I know if my essential oils are pure? Right? Well, if you're getting it from doTERRA, it's going to be pure. And it's going to be pure because of this process, right? And so let's talk a little bit more. So here's 8 ways for you to know, 8 ways to know that doTERRA essential oils are pure. Okay. So these are the 8 tests that each batch goes through. Each essential oil batch goes through to ensure its purity. Okay, so I am going to admit I don't know what a lot of these are, and that's okay. We're going to talk about each of them. So it's organoleptic testing, it's microbial testing, gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, a mass spec. I do know that. The Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, so FTIR. The chirality testing, isotopic analysis, and then heavy metal testing. So what are each of these? Okay. So using the organoleptic testing as a means to detect essential oil purity, this testing involves using our human senses, specifically sight, smell, taste, and touch. This specific testing involves evaluating the aroma, the color, and the consistency of the oil to ensure that it meets doTERRA's high standards, right? And again, that's where the senses come in. So they're looking at it, they're smelling it. And I have heard Emily write when she talks about when they found their oils, it was like she had never smelled anything like that before. And even Natalie Goddard, for those of you who know her experience was she had used oils for a while, and then she smelled doTERRA, and she'll say, like, she says, I never experienced peppermint until that day. So there you can smell it, you can see it, it's pretty amazing. So that's the first one, to ensure its purity. The next one is microbial testing, right? And so this is testing for things like fungi and bacteria and different things like that. So, and this test is performed on the products entering the manufacturing facility and on finished products prior to distribution. So they do this test twice, right? Before it comes into the manufacturing facility, and then on the finished products before they're even distributed, right? And they do this to ensure that no products have been contaminated during the filling process. So as they're filling each little bottle, they do this, which is cool. Okay, next one. So using the gas chromatography test, and this again, these are all tests that detect essential oil purity. And I wish I could have gotten my hands on some of the data that they showed at convention, but they showed data of like the most popular ones that they had tested over the years, and how just like I'm gonna mess it up. I can't think of what it is, but it's in terms of being it pure, and like how, I want to say standard deviation, how much it deviates from that 100%, and it was very minimal. I guess that was the word I was looking for. So using the gas chromatography, this test, using this testing method, quality control analysis can determine which compounds are present in a test example, right? And so this is how they figure out what's inside of each sample, which, you know, when they did the birch, this is what they used, right? My guess is this is what they used. I'll say that. And then the mass spec, right? So using this together with the gas, it determines further, like it's a deeper dive into the composition of an essential oil. And so I'm going to put, for those of you who like chemistry, there's an ebook that I'm going to put into the comments for you guys. So you can look at that, but it's got all of the chemical, like compounds, all of the chemical information about each of the oils, which is really sweet. I figured I wanted to teach out of that today, but I was like, I don't even know if I'll understand it. So next one, this FTIR, it's conducted to ensure the potency and consistent quality of a batch of essential oils, right? And I'll do that in a minute. Okay. On some of the blogs that doTERRA's created about this, they have cool little like GIFs that you can look at to see what the test actually looks like. And so I want to go and show you those. Okay, so here's, bless you. So here's the chirality. I'll just go to it now. The chirality test. So it's and I hope I'm saying that right. This is a term that's derived from the Greek word hand. And it's a term used to describe the 3D orientation of a molecule. So you can see here. And so just like we have two hands, right? The chiral molecules exist in two forms. And they're distinguishes either the right hand or the left hand. So when they're placed side by side, right, they mirror each other. So in molecules, each hand has a different chemical property, which affects their physiological interactions with the body. So then the next one, come back here, is the isotopic analysis testing. And this is used to determine which isotopes are present in each essential oil constituent and at what amounts, right? And then the last one, they use a heavy metal test to make sure that there aren't copious amounts of heavy metals present inside the essential oil, because that can have a negative effect on our body, right? I'm sure a lot of us have heard about heavy metal testing and right, aluminum in our deodorant and different things like that. So those are the 8 tests that they do to make sure that each bottle is pure. And then I just want to come show you these. We kind of looked at these. So this is I think that's the first one. Yeah. So this is what the gas chromatography looks like. So it's got a gas cylinder, and then they push the sample in there, and then it comes through this column, and then it detects, right, which compounds are present in the test sample. So that's what this does, the gas chromatography. The FTIR, it shines an infrared light through the sample, right, into the mirror, and then it gives us the data. It gives us the potency and consistent quality of each batch, right? So it tells us that. And then this is talking about, they use the isotopic analysis testing. So when you're testing, right, say lemon essential oil, and you're getting it from the same place every time, the tests in terms of the isotopes should be similar, right? because you're getting it from the same place every time. But if you're testing it and the isotopes come out differently, then that means the batch is different, right? And we want to be, doTERRA wants to be consistent in their things so they know that something's not correct with that batch. So that's what that's for. Anyway, so I just wanted to show those to you guys. There's a lot of other stuff like we could go through, but I won't bore you with all of that. I just want to make sure I'm giving you everything I wanted to give you. Yeah. And you can go to, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm just going to show you. So, you can go to the product information page, which every oil has it, and it'll bring up this, called a PIP, or product information page. And you can see, right, that it's certified pure tested grade. So if you're wondering about each, whatever oil you're using, you can go find it on the website, the doTERRA website. You can scroll down to the bottom and it's going to have a little button or a link that says PIP, and it's going to take you to something that looks like this. And this gives you all the product information about the specific oil, right? So you can see that it's pure tested grade. The applications are topical, and then this N means neat, which means you don't need to dilute it, right? It's safe for your skin. Again, you can see that it's this certified pure tested grade. I thought I had that right. And I also found that the tests that they do, they're looking for like pesticide residue, as well as it tests the stability of it, right? So the shelf life of each oil, because a lot of times these essential oils can last a lot longer than regular medication. And so we need to know those things. So I hope that this was helpful for you. Let me get, maybe I can, let's see if I can connect it right now. It might not let me. I'll have to come back, which is fine. But I want to make sure that I get that chemistry ebook loaded up there, and I can even put the links of the things that the sources that I found just on the doTERRA website. I found a study that talked about doTERRA oils and UV rays, so I can put that on there if people are interested in that. But I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you today. Thank you for being understanding in terms of my children and my sick kid for yesterday. And of course, my dog. Next week, we will be in my bedroom and the door will be locked and there will be no distractions. And so I'm going to leave you with that. And just hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for watching. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out. And I, again, would love to know what you would like to learn about. I would just love to know that. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a beautiful weekend. If you're in Utah, stay warm because it is cold out there. So, yeah, have a great night. Bye.